And you're here on Soapbox. We're going to be talking about smart meters, which turn out to be not quite as smart as we wish they were. But before we get to smart meters, we always like to thank our underwriters who make this possible. Pieces Pizza brings us wonderful, wonderful pizza that our guests can hardly wait for the show to get over with so that they can go have a slice or two. You can get vegan pizza, you can get vegetarian pizza if you call in advance. You can buy it by the slice. It's on 21st Street between M and N. On 21st between M and N. Give pizza a chance. It's heavenly pizza. And our other underwriter is Humor Times, humortimes.com. You can subscribe to Humor Times and get a laugh out of politics, which is not that easy to do these days. But you can do it if you read James Israel's Humor Times. It's a great little mag. Makes a perfect Valentine's gift. Go to humortimes.com and get a subscription for your love. And coming up, I like to talk about my coming show on the Under News, but that won't be until the next first, and I can't tell you who we're going to have, 89.5. But the other thing I do want to tell you about right now is that I'm going to have an art show, folks, March 2nd at the Sacramento Poetry Center. And we have a great band that we're going to have called the Hucklebucks. So come on out March 2nd at 5 p.m. at the Sacramento Poetry Center at 25th and R. Okay, here we are in the present moment now with Eric Windheim and Kim Glazzard, who are going to give you information that I'm sure you do not know, because it's information that the utilities would rather not have come out, because it's going to, they're hoping to stop this move to put smart meters on every house. What in heaven's name is a smart meter?
Well, it's a digital replacement for your analog meter that we've all known for decades. And the analog meter is proven safe, and the smart meter is not smart, it's not safe, and it's not even green.
But it gets rid of one employee per block.
That's right, that's right.
And that's something a corporation can't resist. You know, that's the one thing corporations can't afford, is employees.
Well, I don't think that sacrificing your health for employees is a good trade? Is a good trade-off. No. The thing about smart meters is there's a number of different issues about smart meters. There's the health issue, there's a fire and safety issue, there's privacy issues, and there's billing issues. There's been a lot of inaccurate billing that has been associated with the smart meters. However, our biggest concern right now is the health impacts of the smart meters. They are causing all sorts of issues, from heart issues. Diabetes is being promoted through the smart meters. There's a lot of nerve and brain function issues that are happening.
Like brain fog and the feeling that you can't think clearly.
Loss of memory, loss of cognitive ability.
So maybe people don't have Alzheimer's, they just have smart meters. Well,
depression, anxiety, suicide, weight loss, insomnia, nightmares, ringing in the ears, cardiac problems.
Now, how can a little meter on your house cause all this problem?
Well, you know, the thing is, it's interrupting the oscillatory synchronicity of your brain, your heart, and your gut. You have a natural rhythm, and when this thing comes out with its pulsed electromagnetic radio transmissions 13,000 times a day, or once every 6 seconds on the average, that's one thing. But then there's also the dirty electricity from the switching mode power supply, which is more efficient than a transformer, and that switches on and off 30 to 40,000 times a second. And that goes through all the wires in your house, and you're living inside this wire cage. So you're getting RF from one side and dirty electricity from the other.
RF is radio frequency?
Correct.
And dirty electricity is pulsing?
That comes on the wires, and it can be measured. It's quantifiable. You can use an oscilloscope or a single-purpose meter. It's quite easy to see.
So, you know, we were talking just briefly before the show of this amazing movie, Creatures of Resonance?
Yeah, Beings of Resonance.
Beings of Resonance. And for people who, I love the videos that you can see. This one came, I do believe, through Forbidden Knowledge, which is one outfit of videos on your computer.
Right.
But you can Google beings of resonance, and it goes into depth about the fact that we are creatures who, what we are is an electrical field.
Yes,
That's
right?
exactly it. Yes.
Yeah.
People are.
And we have the same resonance as Earth. We're Earth people with an Earth resonance.
But when you get Wi-Fi and the high-tech resonances,
RF, DE, dirty electricity, all these things knock you out of your natural synchronization.
so when we say we have bad vibes, it's very literal.
It could be. Literally, it could be.
So that the movie showed that maybe some of the bird kills and animal kills are from having the resonance of creatures disrupted.
Oh yeah, the bees that
and they
can't...
can no longer home.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So now you are an environmental engineer.
I'm not actually an engineer.
Environmental Solutions.
Yes, I've been solving environmental solutions since I left college. Mm-hmm.
And then you fell into awareness of this smart meter program.
Well, yeah. I mean, my mom and dad were both dying, and I believe my mom got cancer twice from dirty electricity, according to my measurements at her house. But I was really busy, and the SMUD Smart Meter man came to my front door, and the dogs were barking, and he was walking across the lawn with the smart meter. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm here to install your smart meter." "No, you're not. I don't want one." He said, "Oh, yeah, everybody's getting them. Everybody loves them." I said, "No." He said, "You can't say no." He said, "I said no. You're trespassing. Get off my property." "Okay, but you're going to get a letter." "Fine. Just never come back." And apparently that was enough. And later on I found out from a supervisor for the installation company, UPA, Utility Partners of America, that if you say, "You're trespassing, get off," that's the magic word, and they don't respect anything else.
So you can't, if they haven't already installed.
Oh yeah, they'll hop fences, they'll come by in the middle of the day. Yeah.
However, the reality is that almost everybody has them now in Sacramento, in the greater Sacramento area. At the most, there maybe are 300, approximately 300 that are not installed. And that's just people who have
That's Eric Windheim.
Right.
Yes, that have said, no, we don't want them, and it really stood behind it and been able to stop it.
My wife is disabled, and she has recovered nicely, and I don't want anything to knock her back into those dark ages that she had, okay? And I don't look at an involuntary submission to a meter that's proven to hurt people as anything I want to have anything to do with.
Where do you get evidence of the harm?
Well,
where is it proven to?
Excellent point. We have these sworn declarations from people right here in Sacramento that swear the very first day that the meter goes on, they feel dead tired, exhausted, and extremely agitated. Other people say, my heart's going up to 180 beats per minute, and the only way I can get any relief is turn off all my circuit breakers at night.
It's true.
Yeah, and I've got other people that are losing blood. In fact, they brought their bloody nightgowns and put it to the SMUD board meeting and put it on the overhead projector. And what did SMUD say about that? "Mr. Windheim, no more bloody rags."
Well, you know, the thing about the very subtle environmental damages, whether it's chemtrails, smart meters, the food that you ate with, pesticides. I mean, we can just go down this long list of harms that we are surrounded by, are very hard to prove the connection.
Well, no,
they count on that.
There is something else. There's the BioInitiative 2012 report that you can look at, bioinitiative.org. This just in the last 5 years, there's been something like 1,700 new studies, and they're talking about seeing damage that occurs at levels 10, 100, and 1,000 times lower than what SMUD and the FCC considers safe.
Well, this is what we're going to find out about all the EMFs that, you know, that they're lying through their teeth about this subtle harm.
And Jeannie, this is a problem with all the EMFs, but what makes it especially insidious with the smart meters is that you're getting full body radiation exposure.
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's no escaping it. Every time you go in your house, you're getting exposed to that. And the thing is, SMUD right now is not allowing us to go back to analog meters. They are not allowing any real opt-out options. They are only, I mean, even PG&E is allowing its customers to go back to analog meters, which are the
At a certain
safe
expense.
Which, yeah, at an expense, right? That is an issue as well. But at least they're allowing people that option, and we are not getting that option from SMUD. We have been able to negotiate with them, so to speak, to have a workshop on the 21st of February. It's this Thursday, coming Thursday, and that's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. at the SMUD board.
At 65th and Folsom, is that?
It's
Yes.
65th and S. It's on 6201 S Street.
Right, which cuts right into Folsom.
Yeah, and then SMUD is going to have some, quote, outside industry experts come and speak, probably about the smart grid and probably about how wonderful and safe these things are and how you probably want to cuddle up to one. That's fine. That's their position. Now, the SMUD customer owners, by the way, we are owners of SMUD.
Right,
Okay,
right.
that's an important distinction.
Okay, so that's what the flyer looks like. And right down there at the bottom, if you get up close to your set, I just want to repeat. Feb 21, Thursday the 21st, 6 to 9.
Yeah.
At 62 and S.
Yes.
At the SMUD.
And then the public, people like you and me and Kim, will be able to speak for 90 minutes. Okay, and some people will be making detailed presentations. We're still trying to convince the SMUD board that they ought to show caution. Okay, so far they don't think they need to. But then at the end, for 30 minutes, the board will comment.
Well, why is the precautionary principle so hard for people to get in their head?
I'm glad you know about
To do
it.
no harm, for crying out loud, and to first find out to be sure that you're doing no harm, instead of installing them all and having to uninstall them.
Well, they actually had to do that in PG&E territory. Huge numbers of thousands of people have had to say, turn this all around. But PG&E says, okay, you've got to pay. You've got to pay $125 or $75 to have it taken off, and then you've got to pay monthly.
Yeah.
So it's literally extortion. If you want to be safe, you've got to pay.
Yeah. Well,
And it's been a debacle with the billing has been inaccurate a number of, in many cases. Especially there was a big situation with PG&E on their meters. And then also we found that fires have happened with particularly the installation of the smart meters oftentimes.
Sometimes the very day the house will burn down. And in one case locally, I can't mention any details, a man was killed. And it ended up in an out-of-court settlement.
so people are taking the utilities to court around these smart meters.
It's starting. So far, the lawyers have been hovering overhead like an eagle, but now they're starting to dive like a peregrine falcon. And one lawyer in particular has already found his target twice, and he's on his third one now.
But they've been settled out of court and with the vow of silence by the plaintiffs.
One in court, one out of court, and now he's going for bigger game.
Aha.
But that is true that they are trying to, they're trying to settle these out of court as much as they can so that the people don't really know about it. They don't know the details.
The thing is, hush, hush, keep it quiet.
Of course.
Right.
That's their one weapon. So Feb 21, Thursday the 21st at SMUD.
Yes.
If you're interested in this, if you want to, will it be, it's also an informational meeting for the board, right?
Oh,
You're trying to
absolutely.
convince
Supposedly,
the
yes.
board.
We're still
They
appealing
don't have
to
the
them.
info.
We're trying to, this is to open up communication between SMUD and the customer owners, which we are owners.
Right.
And we want to get that communication and that dialogue going. When you just go to a board meeting, you don't get dialogue. So we're trying to get dialogue now. This is their step at trying to mediate with us and work with us. But we do need the public to know about this, because I'm sure that there's a lot of symptoms that people are feeling of harm that could be attributed.
They are so vague. I mean, they could just be the malaise that gets everybody that reads the newspaper, for example.
Well, exactly, but we're finding that, I know for myself, I had some very serious, started to have some serious issues with vision and with fatigue and insomnia and sleeping issues, and it wasn't until I finally put two and two together. Well, how it happened, Jeannie, for me, was one night the electricity went out through a fuse blowing. Didn't want to replace it that night, so I just went to bed.
Slept better than you had in months.
Than years, in a year and a half or 2 years, like 7 hours straight sleep, and I hadn't done that in a long time. And so it's all of a sudden, it's like the light bulb went on, and literally, or off, as that case may be, but it really made a huge difference in my understanding what the effects of those meters were on me.
Is there a website where people could go and look at the various effects?
Oh, yes, there is.
What is?
Well, you have a slide on it, actually.
Okay, let's get it up.
EMF Safety.
Okay.
Network.org.
It'll be up there in a minute if our dear Vicki Rand, look at that. Search for SMUD.
Yeah, you go to that website and you search for SMUD and you'll get to our page. It was founded by Sandy Maurer. She's been calling PG&E on a carpet for 3 years now.
To stop this, try to stop it in advance.
It's
or
been
is that? I mean, she's working on this.
We went to also a CPUC meeting just right before Christmas.
The California Public Utilities Commission.
5 days before Christmas, there was over 200 people from all over Northern California that came. And one woman, when she did her testimony, it really rang true. This is radiation poisoning that these symptoms are that people are showing. And these people were. They were, person after person after person was talking about the horrible issues that they're having. And what the problem is, we're just getting no reprieve. We are not getting people listening to us. We are not getting any options, especially here in Sacramento. It's a huge, huge issue here in Sacramento because we do not have the option right now to go back to an analog meter, which we absolutely need that option. And we absolutely need SMUD to be accountable. They, as a publicly owned utility, need to be responsible to us, the owners, the public. And
even PG&E, though it's an investor-owned utility, should not be charging you extra.
Exactly.
If you feel that you're having a deleterious health effect from these digital meters.
Yeah, almost everybody that speaks at the SMUD board meetings calls that extortion. And each and every time the SMUD board goes, how dare you call it that? But that's what everybody comes to the conclusion is an extortion payment.
Well, I think twice. I think, well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be on my neighbor's house. It's right across from my bedroom.
Well, that's
that
why.
Can affect you.
And we need blocks. We need to be able to have whole communities to opt out, to go back. And it's not really an opting out because we never opted in, but to be able to have the option to go back to analog meters, safe, effective analog meters that had worked for decades. They worked perfectly. And all of a sudden we are being forced, this is being forced on us.
For labor savings for the corporation.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but let me remind you, the only people that are really making money is number one, the meter manufacturers, and number two, the people that orchestrate the meters. That would be Silver Springs Network, and they're orchestrating everything. But the utilities are having a hard time making it all add up, Jeannie. Like SMUD has actually...
Why?
Well, the funny thing is, it's not quite as smart an idea as it... there's an interesting article out there called Getting Smarter About the Smart Grid, and we got a slide on that. You can pull that up.
Okay, the smart grid slide, if we can have that.
Getting Smarter About the Smart Grid with the picture of the man with the white beard. The thing is that despite the fact that SMUD has terminated all but 3 of its meter readers, and I got that straight from a meter reader, they've had to raise their base rate 71% over the last 2 years.
In 2 years.
We were just at the last SMUD board meeting, and the general manager, he got a raise because he kept the rates the same for 2 years. But the base customer rate charge, which is now called system infrastructure charge, has gone from $7 to $10 to $12. That's a 71% hike.
Right. So even so where did the money that they used to pay the meter readers go?
That's a good question. Why do we need to raise the system infrastructure charge 71%
Since we're doing a money-saving,
supposedly this is saving money. Well,
no.
These meters are not
cost effective.
No, they're not cost effective. And plus the other part that people don't realize is they are actually using more electricity than the analog meters. To operate even, they need electricity. So they are not really saving electricity. And the other part is, it's not a matter of saving electricity as much as it is moving. It's kind of like their control or reprogramming us as to how we use our electricity. So they want us to maybe use our electricity at 10 o'clock at night, but it doesn't mean
Later. 1 a.m.
or 1 a.m. in the morning, doesn't mean we don't use electricity, we just use it at a different time of day.
So the smart grid, is this going to be part of your discussion on the 21st?
Yeah, we'll probably cover that. But there's more and more studies by credible scientists saying that this just doesn't make dollars and cents. Utility after utility is having cost overruns, having to ask for more money, and having to ask to raise the rates when this is supposed to be, quote, a money saver. Now, first of all, Kim's right, it doesn't save energy. It's a behavior modification device to penalize you from using it when energy use is popular and make you do your laundry and cook your turkey at midnight or 1 o'clock.
And then eat it at 4 a.m.
Probably.
Probably.
If you want it warm.
Yes, if you insist on having warm food, that was the old way.
Well, the utility does have a problem. Everybody wants electricity at the same time, so rather than give incentives, they're giving a punishment if you use it at the wrong time.
So they hurt our health, and there's a long list, and go to
EMFsafetynetwork.org and search for SMUD.
Right, because some of the symptoms are really seizures, recurrence of cancer. Well, now weight loss, most people would like that. I mean, but every vague symptom that you've ever had is on this list.
There's another big one here. Now, would you say that your mind is a private place that no one should have access to?
Are you kidding? I'm on TV. I'm trying to give my mind to the world.
Okay.
Okay.
The Bioinitiative report shows that this type of radiation breaches the blood-brain barrier, and it opens the door so that pollution can come into your most sacred central processing unit, your brain.
I actually have breached the blood-brain barrier one time, and that was a $50,000 happening.
And I wanted to say about this Bioinitiative report too is that it was like almost 1,500 pages. It's a huge report. It's the second one since 2007, but it really speaks to a lot of the serious harm that has been discovered throughout the world. This is not just in Sacramento. It's not just the United States. And actually, in 3 years, 1/2 the world has been populated with these smart meters.
Deployed. They use the word deployed.
Yeah, it's a war. And it's all the subtle assaults on our health that are so hard to tie to specific sources and causes. It's this vague line between cause and effect. Do you want to say what that is so people can tell?
Now,
we just have a minute.
That's a profile of your electrical usage in 24 hours. The meter will be able to know whether you're home, whether you're not, what you're using. And if I was a burglar, I'd want to know the habit pattern of my victim. And this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution.
There is no protection of the Fourth Amendment against search and seizure. Forget about it. That was then. This is now. We can be searched. They can listen to everything. We have no Constitution, and we have no representation either. That's where we are right now. That's why we have things like smart meters being installed without any preparatory work, without our consent. It's enough to drive you nuts. It really is, the sense of powerlessness. So I'm proud of you, too, for getting it together and setting up this workshop to get people down there. If you are worried about this, if you have had some of these vague symptoms, this is a place to be Thursday, February 21st at 6 p.m. because SMUD needs to know that people are bothered. Are you going to have a petition online?
We hadn't thought of that.
We haven't gone there.
Yeah.
But this is just a beginning. Jeannie, this is the beginning. This workshop is the beginning, we hope, of communication and further expansion, but people need to know, and we want to get the word out. That is the main thing right now, is that people to know. A lot of people are sick. When I show them these flyers, they go, oh my gosh, I wondered why I was having so much trouble. You
Right.
don't believe the people with ringing in their ears or vertigo or insomnia.
Nosebleeds.
Nosebleeds.
Headaches.
I mean, it's just constant. And this is a slow grind on people. It's slowly depleting their resources.
One of my favorite poems by Marge Piercy is about a cancer cluster in a chemical company town. And she said, and instead of saying, you're killing us, we say, I feel sick.
Oh.
And this is what's happening.
Yes.
You might want to call this the Darwin meter, because it's weeding out the weaker people out of, it's culling the herd, literally.
Well, I have literally read studies that say because we're not culling the herd, because everybody survives now. All kinds of people are surviving that don't really have survival skills or even viability. So we are retrograding our population. Oh, I have nothing but cheerful news tonight. So we have 1 minute now. So time to know more about the smart meters that they're installing at your house. I've been talking with Eric Windheim, Kim Glazzard, Environmental Solutions,
and Organic
Sacramento, both caring about our health. And I think that next week we're going to be doing, soon is coming up, a fluoride workshop. Same deal here.
Yes.
Put it in the water before you really test it out. You know, serve the
Yes.
commercial interests rather than the customers. This is not good.
Absolutely. It's time that we need to take control of our health, take control of our lives, and learn more about what's affecting you. And right now, you need to know about your smart meter, and you need to get involved.
Yeah,
Yes.
and people can certainly call me, and I'll put them on my Smart Meter Awareness email list.
Oh, good.
And my number is 916-395-7336.
395-7336. All right, and you can get that at
EMFsafetynetwork.org, and search for the SMUD page.
All right. We've got a great echo in this building now. We got feedback and everything. I want to thank, of course, right in front of me, Nate Jones, Marge McCrary in the studio, Greg Popejoy, Allison Wells doing the directing, and Vicki Rand getting all that stuff up on the screen. And you folks who come to Soapbox every week, we love it. Come back next week, because people matter.
You walk the line, well, I'll walk it too. You're holding on, and I'm holding on. We're hanging on by a string of a shoe.